Let's go over material and mass properties. Right now, I have this piece. It was created with a sketch, revolving, and then I had to make an extra plane, a reference plane, where I would tap a hole through it. Nevertheless, to have a material specified, we go to the left side in this feature panel. Over here, it says material, and it specifies that it's not specified. So you right-click it, and it gives you quite the list here. What you're going to do is hit Edit Material. Then you have a whole bunch of different materials. Now, with this being said, most of the time, the team, and as you get further along, you'll know what to select. Most of the time, we definitely don't use rubber, um, but many times plastics are used. For example, PLA or ABS. Now, if you just look, there's just a lot of options. And just for giggles, we're going to select ABS. And pre-programmed into the system, there's the elastic modulus, Poisson's ratio, shear modulus, all those great things you totally learned about. Um, there's just different stuff throughout. The appearance doesn't matter that much unless it's in a final uh, assembly file, which we're going to go over in the next few videos. But essentially, you just select which material you want, you apply it, and then you're done. You can add more materials, like if you select add, I believe you can add materials from a file, but you can also um, add custom materials yourself right here. So custom plastic, you can change any of these values. Um, yeah, there's just a lot of stuff in here. Um, Ask your manufacturing person, like what material you think it's going to be out of. Most of the time, you don't even have to apply a material until you do FEA. But nevertheless, we have a material selected, and now we need to know how much this part weighs. Say you've modeled it exactly. This program is able to give you a very good estimate of what it weighs. So to do that, make your way to the Evaluate tab and select Mass Properties. Well, in this Mass Properties, you select Part 1, you calculate it, and this tells us that this thing right here, made out of the ABS, yep, the ABS, is 1.39 pounds. And it calculates that by the density and how many, how much volume this thing has. So, yes, so density times that is going to give you the mass. It has surface area. It also has a center of mass, which might also be helpful. So up here, you can select Create Center of Mass Feature. And what that's going to do is it's going to add like a little center of mass thing in there. Um, so after we have all of this, and it gives you axes of inertia, moments of inertia, more moments of inertia, and essentially um, this all calculates into statics. If it's a solid part, or if it's dynamics, it's a moving part. Most likely, this is a dynamics part. However, um, you won't really get to that till you're like sophomore, junior year of mechanical engineering. Um, but if we just click out of it, it gives us a little dot there. So as we can see, if we select a specific view, if we select a specific view, it's pretty much in the middle. If we keep kind of rotating around, we can see that the back half, it's closer to the back half than is the front half. And that's because of this large extra set of mass here. And so this center mass can indeed be helpful if you know what you're doing with it. But most of the time, you just want the center of mass to be on a rotating part in the middle of it or where the axis that it's rotating. And it appears this one is. You can do more simulation on it, but that's in another video. So that is how you um, are able to material and mass properties. Um, so yes, there's also a lot of other options in this evaluate tab. Design study. Eventually, we might get to that, but there's these things called zebra stripes, and mainly they just look cool. I don't know. They they basically tell you the curvature or part of the curvature, and similar with we can get rid of that curvature. I think the more aggressive curvature is a um, darker red. So the machine assumes, or it just shows you the different. Yeah, you have to do a symmetry check. So manual face comparison. Looks like I can't even select an axis right now, but there's a lot of like, just active tools here. Most of the time, you just select mass properties and you'll get the mass. So really quick, I'm just going to switch the material, which is easy as edit material. We're just going to turn it into a steel, um, 4340 annealed. Um, and annealed is a kind of like a process. It's like a heat treating process, which you might learn if you're mechanical engineering. You'll learn in metallurgy for engineers. That should be a second or third semester class. Um, so now we have that. We go back to mass properties, and now this piece weighs 10.68 pounds. So it does do something. The center of mass should be relatively the same, I think. Um, so